They got my nostrils, and they then come round to the actual puppy's hood's nostrils.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're looking at the most disturbing and surprising documentaries produced and broadcast by Channel 4.
I never really thought it's something I would go into, making breast milking videos.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Swiped, the school that banned smartphones.
Her iPad suddenly died, so it went like black. And in the reflection, I could see someone holding a phone who definitely wasn't an 11-year-old girl. I don't know if it was a man or a woman. I suspect it was a man.
In 2024, Channel 4 commissioned a documentary following an experiment where a group of teenagers and their parents voluntarily gave up their smartphones and other devices for 3 weeks.
Because we can't wait really for their timelines, because damage is being done now, people are being hurt now, and they need to play their part.
They were also joined by Matt and Emma Willis, who gave up their phones too. The study was run by researchers from the University of York, and there were some harrowing stories from parents of children who'd lost their lives after being exposed to dangerous content online.
You could have screen-free meal times, for example. What about having no technology in our bedroom? I think we as parents are going to have to help our children reset their relationship with technology.
Older parents were horrified at how much stuff kids can easily see online and reached the conclusion that laws need to be passed and changed to restrict what children can do on their phones.
So hands up if you think that kids under the age of 14 need a smartphone. So no one.
The leader, his driver, and the driver's wife. South Africa was one of the last countries to desegregate, but after facing decades of internal strife and international measures, in the early 1990s, the legislation enforcing it was finally repealed.
A report came through from Cape Town of AWB supporters badly beating 3 young black children and 5 black school teachers as they were leaving a swimming pool.
This contentious documentary was filmed and broadcast on Channel 4 in those final years. Throughout, filmmaker Nick Broomfield interviewed and followed many people leading a pro-apartheid movement, but the journalist Janie Allen also took issue with it.
Yes, he is a bit frightened at the moment, and I think he's nervous. But I talked to him last night and said he must think properly about things.
At the time, a handful of newspapers were making allegations that she was having an affair with the documentary's subject and successfully sued them for libel for printing this. She also tried to sue this documentary over it, but lost. She was barely even in it, bizarrely.
We were hoping to see the leader later that morning. In the meantime, we accompanied Anita, JP's wife, who works as a health visitor.
Open House, the great sex experiment.
It's always something I fantasised about, but seeing them passionately kissing made my heart drop a little bit.
On to something more light-hearted. In 2022, Channel 4 began a new documentary series calling monogamy itself into question. Couples and frisky singletons alike retreat to the country under the guidance of a therapist with dubious credentials, to say the least, to partake in group sex and partner swapping. Invariably, though, it doesn't go well.
It's definitely a hard challenge that she set us tonight. Sex isn't on the cards, but then she said everything up to sex, so I don't actually know where my head's at with it all, to be honest, sorry.
A couple decide they want a threesome, and then, when it finally happens, realise it's not for them. And that they're having this experience not in private, but on TV, in a bedroom with hidden night vision cameras. Worse, they're usually there because one of them has cheated, and then an argument about old wounds breaks out.
I had a moment where he was kissing her and it felt like it sort of prolonged, like a little bit further than, and then I sort of was like, oh, okay.
The secret world of incels untold.
I don't know, because I'm not a woman. It's essentially discussing hypotheticals.
It doesn't have to be hypothetical, though, because you could just ask a woman.
Well, the idea is that women aren't very honest about that kind of thing.
The involuntary celibate movement, or incels, have become a hot-button topic in recent years. Documentarian Ben Zand went to investigate, connecting with some self-proclaimed incels and meeting up with them to ask them about their views.
What took you to the point of hitting yourself in the face with a hammer?
It was just results.
I wanted to be good looking, quickly, fast.
One of the most disturbing moments is when Ben takes an anonymous incel, nicknamed D by the production, out for drinks in the real world after he confesses to have nearly no friends and to have never spoken to a woman in real life.
Well, from what I read on the internet, I read that it's unsafe to even be in the same room as like a woman without a third party.
D talks to a group of women and says that he's terrified of being around them in case they decide to falsely accuse him of sexual assault. It's horrifying to hear people expressing these views about women in this day and age. Russell Brand in plain sight.
Come on! Everyone does it. Don't be afraid of your own sexuality. Do be a bit afraid of mine, though.
Investigations are still ongoing, though as of November 2024, police have advised that the CPS should bring charges against Brand for various allegations.
It shouldn't be legal for a 16-year-old to have a relationship with a man in their 30s.
Much of this was brought to light by the Dispatches documentary Russell Brand in Plain Sight, part of a joint investigation between Channel 4 and the Sunday Times. All of the women in the documentary were anonymous, with some played by actors reading their real words, but one person did go on the record.
Looking back on the relationship, which started consensually, Alice now feels she was controlled by Brand.
Scottish comedian Daniel Sloss spoke at the end about how Brand's reputation was an open secret. Since this happened, Brand has accused the mainstream media of trying to silence him and has gotten baptised and started selling magical amulets online.
Obviously, he was the presenter and I was a runner. I wasn't going to tell anyone what he'd done because I didn't want to lose my job.
Undercover A&E, NHS in crisis. For years, the NHS has been the #1 issue Brits care about. It's always at the top of any government's agenda, while relentless cuts have left the health service struggling more than ever before.
Patients regularly spend 12 hours or more on trolleys in this corridor.
This harrowing undercover documentary, another outing from Dispatches, worked for months on a busy A&E ward filming and investigating. It lifted a lid on the appalling conditions some A&E patients find themselves in, often due to no fault of the extremely overworked hospital staff.
What we've seen here, there's a whole series of examples which show what happens when you don't have enough capacity in the whole system to look after people properly.
Early on, there was a suspected stroke sufferer who was left in A&E without a referral for 24 hours.
I have a patient that's been here for 24 hours. She's had a suspected stroke. I feel like she's not on our list.
And this was just one case of many. The secret life of human pups.
I can actually fit in quite successfully. And to be honest with you, from there on in, uncomfortable.
This older documentary explored a lesser-known subculture, human puppies. Also known as pup play or puppy play, this is generally a BDSM subculture of people who pretend to be dogs and have stylized dog costumes, usually made of leather.
Tom spent more than £4,000 on specially made gear to transform into his alter ego, Spot.
But one man who features in the documentary insists there's nothing sexual about his desire to dress up in a full rubber costume as a Dalmatian named Spot, even when he also locks himself in a cage with absorbent puppy pads in case nature calls.
If I'm in there for a long time, if facilities needed, puppy training pads.
He requires the help of his ex-girlfriend to talc himself up and get into his costume, which also has breathing tubes fitted to the nose so that he can breathe like a dog, as he says. The king, the prince, and their secret millions.
Their private estates, the duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall, make Charles and William £50 million a year.
In 2024, another Dispatches investigation made headlines by investigating the duchies of Cornwall and Lancaster to see just how much money the King and the Prince of Wales make from rents.
The duchy charged the fire brigade £612,000 to lease the land.
The royal family has always refused to disclose exactly how many properties they own, which properties those are, and what condition they're in, but Channel 4 did a huge investigation.
We've discovered millions of pounds in rent secretly flowing from charities into Charles and now William's pocket.
It found not only that the royals lease land and buildings to private renters, but that land occupied by fire stations, schools, hospitals, and even a cemetery are owned by the royal family, and that they charge rent, sometimes extortionate rents, to those publicly funded buildings, fleecing the taxpayer.
Thousands of documents obtained by dispatches reveal how hard up government departments, schools, and even the NHS are helping to keep the cash rolling in for Charles and William.
The Great Amazon Heist.
Amazon's employees have to go through this every day. I mean, it felt more like I was walking into some sort of nightmare.
Some more levity. Internet prankster Uber Butler teamed up with Channel 4 to go undercover in an Amazon fulfillment centre in 2023. There's been much discussion in recent years over the workplace conditions in Amazon warehouses, and he wanted to get to the bottom of things.
One of my co-workers was saying that she had worked there for 8 months and that she was in tears because of how much pain she was in.
Literally crying.
He was nearly caught on his first day when his cameras set off Amazon's airport-style security scanners, then started focusing on a different part of the business.
I'm collecting all of the bottles of urine that I can find from Amazon's disgruntled and overworked drivers.
It's long been alleged that the delivery routes for drivers are so relentless that they resort to using bottles to relieve themselves. Butler found dozens of suspect bottles right outside the warehouse's gates.
So the plan for today is got to try and make this product that we've made out of Amazon drivers' urine, got to try and make it a #1 product on Amazon.
Breastfeeding my boyfriend.
As an adult, now I kind of have theories as to why I'm so drawn to the A&R and the nursing.
This kink is one of the final taboos that Western society hasn't broken, and maybe that's for the best given how people reacted to this show. Even for Channel 4, exploring the erotic lactation community was a step too far, grown women going as far as taking medicine to make them lactate without children as part of this kink.
In the West Country, Milky Mummy's clear why she's making milk videos. She's being very well taken care of by her highest paying customers.
One online content creator said that she could make up to £10,000 an hour posting breastfeeding videos online though, so maybe the joke is on all the naysayers. Still, it got a huge number of complaints, and a few viewers on social media asking Channel 4 to pay for their therapy after having watched it, and we can't show you most of it.
I wasn't breastfed as a baby, and I feel like that's probably got a little bit to do with why I'm so drawn to it now.
Let us know in the comments if you'd like to speak to a professional after watching these clips.
Charles even earns £300 a year from a pipe adjoining a sewage works that discharges effluent into the dock.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.